Hello, everyone. Here we are with another episode. And today I am happy to be connected with Kara, who is a holistic health and wellness coach. She's a breast cancer survivor and the founder of Be Empowered Holistic Health and Wellness, LLC. She's also the co author of Pink Warrior Wisdom, which is launching this fall. And she helps breast cancer survivors restore their health, reclaim their power, move forward with clarity after treatment through whole food, plant-based nutrition, mindset support, and personalized coaching. She has a background in executive support, a passion for integrative healing, and years of lived experience. She empowers women to navigate life after the pink with confidence, peace, and purpose. So, Kara, we're super excited to have you here today. Tell us what brought you on this journey.
Hi, Macy. Thank you for having me. I am so excited. I am so excited to be here. What brought me on this journey was a diagnosis, was a phone call in July of 2018. I got a phone call at work. So the year before, I had a biopsy. I'd had a mammogram with something that looked suspicious. So they did a biopsy. It was negative. So fast forward a year later, my doctor thought she felt something during an annual exam at my right breast. So she said, okay, go for your diagnostic, a 3D ultrasound, and see what that's about. I was not worried because just the year before it was nothing. So literally just a year. So I went and I was traveling that month. I was paying no attention. So I got the mammogram and they said, wait a minute, we need a biopsy on this one too. Still wasn't that worried. So I did the appointment. It was taking a while to get the biopsy results. So I tracked down, the lab and I was like, give me my results. And they called me at work. And I stepped out in the hallway and they said, I'm sorry, it's positive. And you could have knocked me down with a feather. I just started sobbing because right away I thought death sentence. I was
Yeah.
48. I was only 48. I had a 15-year-old daughter, 13-year-old stepdaughter, 11-year-old stepdaughter, family, married 2 years prior. And I thought I was dead. I thought I was dying. And what I've learned since then is it is not a death sentence. And that's what I like to tell people. It is not a death sentence. It's a wonderful, wonderful wake up call. So I was diagnosed and then I got on the train. And then it's like, see this doctor, see that doctor, see in a college, pick a breast surgeon, and testing and testing and testing and on the train to surgery. So I opted for a double mastectomy with reconstruction. And that's all I was doing at the time. They were thinking maybe chemo, maybe not, depending on how big it was, that surgery, things like that. I said, well, chemo terrified me, terrified me. So I just was like, one thing at a time. I was trying to wrap up my corporate job so I could take time off. I had kids to deal with, their emotions, my husband's emotions. So it was just a crazy 6 weeks before the surgery. And then I had the surgery, and that went really well. But during that time while I was healing, diagnosis started. And then when I was healing, I thought, what in the world caused this? I think that's a very common question, like what caused it? Nothing, no one thing can cause it. And often cancers grow in our bodies, especially breast cancers. They can grow for 20 years. So it could be a combination of 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's not like you do something last year and now your breast cancer is here. That is not how that works. So um, I was able to do a lot of reflection when I started to learn about the factors that could contribute. They're lifestyle factors, right? So it's what we eat, how we move, how we manage stress, how we sleep, our purpose and passion, all these things. And I started learning about this. And then the first thing I found out was nutrition. That's where one of my nurse navigator said, if you want to start somewhere. Nutrition. Dr. Greger, she sent me on that path. So I
Yep.
obsessively, he's my guy. I have a picture with him. I have his book. He was at a talk one time.
That's awesome. Wait, tell me more about this for a second.
I got a picture with him holding the book. It's amazing. I was so
Ah,
geeked.
yes, I wanna see this picture. That's
I will
awesome.
send it to you. I will send it to you. And he said, because my breast surgeon said, well, hopefully our goal is to get you old enough to die of heart disease.
Huh? What?
What? Not cancer. His thing was maybe the cancer will be gone, so you'll be old enough to die from heart disease. And I thought, oh, I don't want to do that either. So I told Dr. Greger that when I met him, and he's like, exactly your face. What?
Like, who
So,
says that? That's a death diagnosis.
so, and I love my breast surgeon. He's amazing. He's amazing. But that's what he said. I thought, no, let's just not do any of that. So anyway, um, so I told Dr. Greger that the quick little book signing I had, and we had a good laugh over it. But I'll send you that picture. It was so fun. And I think in the book he signed when he signed it, "May food and love be your medicine" or something like that. It was
I
really
love
sweet.
that.
It was really sweet. So my was nutrition. So I went into all that and I learned about whole food, plant-based nutrition, and it changed my life like overnight. And I
Mhm.
don't recommend people do this. I recommend they ease into it because if you're not prepared for your triggers, your emotional triggers, your mental triggers for eating, or even your cultural, considerations and holidays and stuff. You kind of have to have a plan. Well, I was highly motivated, and I thought this is going to help me heal, lower inflammation, all the things we know. So I was in. Now I had a husband and three teenage daughters. So they laugh now, but we had a lot of lentils. We had lentil loaf, we had lentil meatballs, we had lentil this and lentil that. Anything I could make out of a lentil, I did, and they still laugh about it to this day. So I never pushed it on them. I learned how to have a house divided, and I would make my stuff, plant based stuff,
Mhm.
and add to it. So that's a whole different topic. But so I started there, and I started before I even had surgery, and I went all in. And then after the surgery, I was home alone and healing, and I was able to go down these like lifestyle, anti-cancer. Um, I was able to learn about it, and I started to see, wow, okay, lots and lots and lots of stress, drinking too much, hello, to manage that stress, breaking the cells, increasing the estrogen, all that good stuff for breast cancer. So meditation, all the things, the regulation of your daily stress and all that. I learned all about that. And so fast forward, I was like, "Ooh, I want to teach this. I learned so much. I'm so excited." So I got a certification and I learned even more and I was just so excited. So I started I started my business just a couple of years ago. And I was really focused on just health and wellness, generally health and wellness. I was like, I can help everybody. I can help anybody. And I
Mhm.
realized, no, I can't. What do I know? I know breast cancer and I know the pain. And I know I've walked the path and I know what it feels like to have that diagnosis. And I know what it feels like when you ring the bell, you're done. You're done. And the doctor says, I'll see you in a year. And you are like untethered, like, oh no, please, I would not graduate. My oncologist said, see you in a year. I said, no, I'll be in here in 3 months. He's like, well, you can. Insurance isn't going to cover you, but that's how tied you are to that cadence, to that doctor, to that, is it back? Because we're always thinking, is it back? A headache is never just a headache anymore.
Mhm.
Your knee just doesn't hurt anymore. It's cancer, you know. And so we've got recurrence fears. We've got what now? We've got these things that may have led to it and boundaries we didn't have that we realize now we want because life is too short. So I pivoted my coaching from helping everybody do everything to survivors post treatment because there are a lot of amazing coaches who coach through the treatment, almost like a patient
Okay.
advocate. They help with symptoms and things like that. Mine is post treatment after you're done and your slate is blank, you're tired, you're fatigued, you're scared, you're overwhelmed with Google. You don't know what to eat, how to eat, what to do, how often to what. So I just kind of, and it's trauma. We just went through a traumatic experience. And so we talked a lot. You and I have talked a lot
Yep.
about that. And I don't hit on it as deeply as you do, but what I do is I like to acknowledge it. Can we
Yeah.
acknowledge it? Can we regulate our nervous system? Because of that trauma, like I said, a headache's not a headache. And we have scanxiety and we have these things. And if we don't acknowledge and regulate and have tools in our toolbox to handle that, it can get really out of control. And that's not a healing environment.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
Yeah. No, it's a stress environment. I've worked with a couple of clients who have had breast cancer. And I mean, even going through it, I had one lady who was like, when she came to me, she was still going through treatments. And
mm-hmm,
she said, I'm here to strengthen my bones, was the way
mm-hmm,
that she worded it. And she
yeah,
said, and when I saw a holistic health practitioner, which I will tell you this, Dr. Greger is probably what made me go become a holistic health practitioner because I was so passionate about the way that food is medicine. And, I'm on the same path with you. Plants, I would, as
yeah,
even as a kid, I would look at it because I'm Native American. So, like,
yeah,
my Native American heritage,
yeah,
everything that I've learned about it, they lived off the land. So, like, plants were medicine. Like, it's part of the healing rituals and stuff that they would do.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
when I kept adopting that practice, kept studying it more, like it was just amazing to me of how amazing plants are that we don't even give credit for half the time. We walk and step on them and then we're like, oh, we should have kept this,
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not a herbologist because I don't know that. Not my
Yeah,
jam.
yeah,
But it's amazing to me
yeah.
how medicine does play into that and how your food does. This lady's cancer started decreasing because of the nutrition we were working on. And the doctors were like, this is impossible. And I'm like,
No, it's not. It's
maybe, maybe not, but I remember so many words that she had told me, so many things. I worked with several different ladies, not as many. But I've enjoyed the times that I've connected with them, the results that they were getting, and
yeah,
just how they were feeling through different treatments.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's talk about this. Since you've got that background for nutrition with post-cancer, let's go a step further.
Mhm.
What happened for you after you rang the bell? So I know you were home, we had surgery, sat at
Yeah.
home, we started studying. Let's talk a little bit more about the moments after ringing the bell.
Yeah. So I made a difficult choice. And what I like to tell breast cancer survivors is actually, someone said to me, if you've met someone with breast cancer, you've met someone with breast cancer. You've met one person with breast cancer, and each journey is different. And when you are diagnosed, you have an onslaught of decisions to make. And those decisions are permanent, like your surgery, lumpectomy versus chemo versus not versus, and it's completely, I can't explain how overwhelming it is. And so I did a deep dive into chemo because I am that person who questions everything. Like I would bring my doctor's case studies and say, help me understand and I don't just here's my arm, put the needle in and give me whatever. No, so I had to go through 3 consults till I found my oncologist who listens to me. And I would ask each oncologist, because I got this Chris beat cancer. He had a 20 questions to ask your oncologist. And so the first one was, does it matter what I eat? And if your oncologist says no, it doesn't matter at all what you eat during chemo. Eat one of mine literally said, eat pizza, eat ice cream, just keep the weight on. My husband and I, we looked at each other and we said, we're out. And we literally left that office. And everyone I went to, and so mine, the one I ended up with, said, well, it doesn't hurt to eat well. That's as far as you're going to get with a Western trained doctor. That's as far as you're going. So to me, that was, yes, nutrition matters. That's as close as I could get. So I went with him,
Okay.
and
Okay.
he and I bring all the studies to him. I email him studies. We're good. but they are not trained. So anyway, that's a whole different topic. But what happened for me, what I decided against chemo because of the size of my tumor and chemo, it was hard. It was a hard decision. So I opted against it. So I have that layer too, right? And I always tell people this is you, your body, your decisions, and it's a judgment free zone. It's a judgment free zone, but you will find yourself feeling judged sometimes. But
Mhm.
so we work on owning what you've decided to do for your health and stuff like that. But it's just after the bell, you just don't know which way to turn. You're trying to research and Google and what is an anti-cancer diet? What is how much exercise should I be getting? All those lifestyle things. If you're trying to make big changes, because for me, because I was commuting an hour, hour and a half each way. I was highly stressed. I had 3 kids. I was eating. I'd get home and put the pork chops in the pan and the potatoes and the green beans, and thought I was making a healthy dinner. And
Mhm.
so it came with a big, big learning curve and it was very overwhelming. So there's that aspect. If you are wanting to make changes, that's overwhelming. And people don't understand. Your friends and family, they love you so much. They think, oh, she rang the bell. A lot of times the hair is already grown back. And they think, back to normal, back to normal. You look fine. You look fine. You're going back to work. What's wrong? And we are still traumatized. We're like, I'm
Yeah.
the same. I'm not the same. Please see me. And they don't want to go back. They want you to be exactly the same. So there's that. So it's not feeling seen or understood that your entire life has changed. Um, your identity has changed. You're identifying with a cancer survivor. You're identifying with pink. You're sometimes in the groups and doing the walks. And it's a whole thing. And then what does that look like going forward? So when I rang the bell, there were certain things in my life, my personal life, I did not want to carry forward. Like
Yeah.
boundaries. Like seriously, I'm not doing that anymore. That stressed me out. That made me exhausted. I'm not doing that. People in your life, do they calm you down, bring you joy? Do you have to let people go? Not obviously people like your kids, but but
Right. Gotta keep them.
like I changed my job because my commute was so stressful. I literally quit my job of 7 years for a boss I loved in a different city. I literally quit my entire career, my job with him, and I moved where to a job that was 4 miles from my house that I could bike to. So like major changes, major
Okay.
changes. So sometimes that chapter requires that. What are
Yeah.
you willing to do?
Yeah. Dude, that I can't even imagine. I can't imagine the fear behind ringing that bell and questioning every little thing.
Everything,
What do
everything.
we do? You look at your kids and you're like, I'm still here. And then
Yeah.
it's like, for now,
I,
like,
I
yeah,
was thinking my daughter was 15. I think she's going on 16 when I was diagnosed. And my prayer was, please let me see her graduate high school.
yeah. Oh,
And
so let's lift these spirits. Let's lift these spirits.
oh, yeah.
So, with that whole lifestyle change that you started doing, let's talk about nutrition because that's where your background is. That's where your whole studies started taking place. So, let's
Yeah.
go through nutrition and how does nutrition help to either reverse cancer cells from turning on, turning off, or helping the body just give it the platform to heal itself? Let's go that way.
The platform to heal itself is it's anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
It's not phytoestrogens. The deeper, more colorful, you're getting all those nutrients. It has fiber. We need fiber. We need to go to the bathroom. What helps us go to the bathroom and get all that junk out, all those dead cells, all those everything? Going to the bathroom, you know, meat and dairy don't have that. Processed foods don't have that. So I like to talk about fiber. It's not the sexiest thing, but come on. It's real. We need it. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it, right?
Gut health matters. Look, I tell my clients all the time, your poop matters.
Poop matters. Thank you. Let's learn about it. Let's learn about it. So that's incredibly important. So it's anti-inflammatory. You're upping your fiber, which is getting all the and cholesterol, and that's a cancer thing. That's a link to cancer too. And my biggest, most enjoyable myth to bust is that soy is dangerous for breast cancer and to avoid it. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. And I'll put it very, very simply, because I can't explain it like Dr. Greger and Dr. Lee and all the doctors, right? There are a ton of studies if people want it, we can get it to them. But basically, we have receptors on our cells. They're estrogen receptors, right? And so these estrogen, the estrogen that we produce are like, they're more powerful. So if you have an estrogen cancer that's, not supplied, what's the word I'm looking for? That's driven by estrogen. So estrogen plops on there and you're driving that cancer and you're driving that cancer. Well, foods like soy milk, tofu, anything soy related, they have phytoestrogens. And that's where people mess up. They think phytoestrogen. No, no, no. It's a plant estrogen. It's very weak and it does not spur the cancer on. What it does is it acts like a blocker. So you got your phytoestrogens bouncing around in here and they land on your estrogen receptor, which is what you want. Then the big guys, the strong guys, get bounced off. They can't attach. So it's actually preventative. And you can have soy every day. I do. I have soy every day. Tofu is got fiber and protein. And that's another thing people like to ask me, where do I get my protein? Where do I get my protein? And yes, we need protein. And, it depends on your age and how, you're better suited to talk about this too than I am. But your age, how much you work out, and how much you need. That's another big question. But there is so much protein in the plant world. There's so much protein. And so where does that come from? Beans and nuts and seeds and all that. It even comes from complex carbs. Oatmeal has a lot of protein. So you got protein in your oatmeal, soy milk on it. You've got a powerhouse, right? Put some walnuts on there. But if you haven't been plant-based and you start doing all that, you're going to have a tummy problem. We're going to have some tummy issues. So I guide very carefully through that to adjust because we don't want people bouncing out of I can't do it. I have too much gas. Well, yeah, so I'll help you. We'll handle it. But yeah, so just like just sharing and teaching. I had one woman say, well, I can't have hummus. I said, well, why can't you have hummus? She said, because it's made of chickpeas and I've had breast cancer. Tell me about that. Let's talk about hummus. And so I talked to her about fiber and protein. I was like, please eat your hummus. Please eat your chickpeas. And she texted me, I'm loving my hummus. The little things like that. So that's one of my biggest things.
I love that.
And for breast cancer, getting cruciferous vegetables in daily. It's extremely important. It's detoxifying. And so we do all that. So there are specific foods. And I have a freebie that says the top 10 breast cancer fighting foods to add to your kitchen.
Yeah. And we're gonna post that below in the caption. You guys are gonna be able to have that. Yeah, broccoli is one of the biggest things that helps with DNA repair and just being able to reverse some of the DNA destruction pieces, if you will. We're going to go layman's terms on this.
Yeah.
So that way it can rebuild and help you to help your body to better fight any cancer cells that do come through.
It's a detoxifying. Yeah, the plants are. Yeah.
Yeah. Plants are amazing. Now with my clients, I take more of like a ketotarian, if you will, type approach, which is basically do it all. Incorporate more, even some of my clients like more Mediterranean. Like if they need meat, okay, well, like let's go for organic and grass-fed sources. Let's not go for all the, hormone pumping type chicken and stuff.
That's what I say too. Yeah. That's what I say too. Because some people are not giving up.
Yeah, and that's okay. That is okay.
That's fine. I need to know your non-negotiables, and then we'll work around it because even your non-negotiables can be healthier.
Yes.
So
100%.
it's
100%.
not all or nothing. It is progress over perfection. And that's one thing too, because when you've had cancer, everything you can get really stuck on everything I put in my body, every molecule. And it's not that. Our bodies are amazing machines and they are designed to live and thrive. And they can fight things off if you have a candy bar or, a steak, or whatever. So it's not that all or nothing thinking. We work a lot on that too.
I love this. I love all of this, and we could be here for hours on this,
Yeah,
talking these
yeah,
things, 'cause this is my jam too. So I
yeah.
have a question for you. When somebody comes to you and they wanna work with you, they just rang the bell, they don't know what to do, what are your steps to walk them through? How do you ease their mind? How do you give them that comfortable space and say, "Hey, look, this is your options. This is what we can do to empower you."
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. I love it. Thank you. So first of all, I just applaud them for taking matters in their own hands and taking control of their health and just being there, right? So we acknowledge that. And it's my program and what I do to guide people through is more like a three-pronged approach. So first we talk about the trauma, the mental load, again, that identity shift, feeling alone. We just talk about all that. And then we talk about how we can start to heal our bodies, nutrition, movement, sleep, all that. Then we process all that and then we move. And I give them the tools to do, regulate
Mhm.
their nervous system and we incorporate it daily. And so we start that path. And then we go into more of an anti cancer lifestyle with the pillars we talked about, those 6 pillars. And I have program under, details under each one. We work through that. We get that established. So we've done the healing, acknowledging, regulating part. We're better now. We're feeling more empowered. We're feeling more in control. And now, what next? That's when we vision the next chapter for them. We
Oh, I
vision,
love that.
is there something you've always wanted to do? Is there a new career change? Are there boundaries? What do you want to take into this next chapter of your life? And it's just after the pink. It's almost when they want to take off the pink and peel off that pink ribbon, not identify with that anymore, and say, this is my life after. And I always like to say that's when the real healing begins. Treatment is treatment, it's not healing. And then we come in to do the healing.
I love that. I'm curious in the mindset aspect because I know some of my clients have struggled with that survivor guilt. Do
Mhm.
you touch base on some of those pieces as well to kind of calm their nervous system and give them a place of peace and purpose in that?
Yes, if that is something they are struggling with, yes, we have techniques and tools and stuff we can address that with. And each person's different. So maybe they come in and they already do regulation practices and they're already feeling okay with that. And maybe they need, so it's just tailored to what they need.
Yeah.
And a big thing for us is fear of recurrence and scanxiety. So I definitely pump their toolbox full of grounding and somatic practices they can do if a scan is coming up, if their annual is coming up. Sometimes just for me, walking into the darn office is enough to just flood you. So we talk about being flooded. We talk about, and those are all just very empowering because you feel very out of control and like
Mhm.
all your power has been taken away. And for a lot of women, they've been cut and burned and, chemo, and it's all for a purpose and it's all to get them to the stage they're at. But that's tough. That's tough. So,
Yeah. It is. Oof. And I'm like, as we're talking about these things, I'm remembering just different clients and people who have walked these journeys. And I'm like, I'm grateful to have been supportive, by their side for certain things. And it's just, it's rough. It's hard, navigating life after the pink. Like it's hard. And
yeah,
no, depending, I love that you take such a personalized approach and that you say, you're saying that everybody's journey is different. Even if you went through the same chemo drugs,
yeah,
even if you did the
yeah,
same doctor, even if you did the same thing, everybody's journey is different. and their healing. So I love this. Thank you for being here today. Of course, we're going to bring you back. We're going to talk about some more things. But before we go, tell us how people can find you. Tell us what you have for us today and your website, different things like that. We're going to post those in the caption. But also tell us how people can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. My website is beempoweredwellness.org. And my Instagram is beempoweredwellness right now. So, and Facebook, same. And I've got some good content on there. I've got an after breast cancer blueprint that comes with a free call. So I give a quiz for a blueprint, and based on where you are, we kind of hash that out in a quick free call. I have my food freebie, which is always fun. It's got the science behind it. It's got all those details. So it's really rich with information. So
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for providing that. And thank you for providing a way of access to you as well.
yes.
Uh, all right, guys. Well, that concludes it for our podcast today and our episode. We're definitely going to be bringing Kara back. We have more to talk about when it comes to plant-based nutrition because, dear God, it can help you in so many different ways. So we're going to continue this on, but bye for now.